When we discuss economic matters on YouTube, whether it's housing, stocks, or data overall, what really grabs our attention is how it impacts our daily lives. Amidst all these discussions, there's a crucial focal point that stands out: jobs. And here's the thing, since around 2015, the employment rate in the United States has lingered below 5%. Except for that one-time spike in April 2020, the job market has exhibited remarkable strength, unlike any other historical period. According to Federal Reserve data, the unemployment rate has been on an undefeated streak for nearly 8 years. Such a robust labor market is unprecedented. It's not something you'll find on any ordinary chart. The closest comparison we can draw is to the period from 1965 to 1970, when unemployment dipped to levels akin to what we're experiencing today in the threes. Interestingly, from 1974 to practically 1997, a period spanning roughly 23 years, the unemployment rate never dipped below 5%, underscoring the rarity of the current situation. Now many are saying we are headed to something similar and that the job market is essentially collapsing following nearly a decade-long winning streak. While Fed data still shows a strong 3.8% unemployment rate, many experts argue that the reality is much worse, and even the official numbers will soon show the pain and misery that is happening in the real market. One piece of evidence they love to use to support this notion is the Indeed posting numbers. We're all familiar with Indeed, a major hub for job postings across the United States. Consequently, many economists have turned to their data to obtain deeper insights into the job market. According to this continually updated data, the job market reached its peak on December 31st, 2021, with the index soaring to 164.52. This translates to a staggering 65% surge in job postings compared to the baseline indexed on February 1st, 2020. However, a glance at the chart reveals a downward trajectory since that peak date. Presently, the number of postings stands at 115, still indicating a 15% increase from 2020, but the trend is undeniably downward. Since the peak, job postings have plummeted by over 29%, signaling a significant shift in the market. And of course, there is some truth to this data. Anyone who's involved with the IT industry, for example, can attest to this. Right now, if we look at sector numbers, we can see some pretty disturbing trends taking place in an industry that was thought to be one of the most stable. By Indeed's very own data, we can observe that software development jobs have taken a massive historic hit. Peaking in February of 2022 at 231, postings for developers have fallen by 70%. This means that right now, postings are nearly 30% fewer than what they were before the pandemic. The same type of fall can be observed in other IT jobs as well. IT operations and help desk is down 48% from its peak, and information design/documentation is down 64%. These are massive movements that have severely reshaped this specific industry. Step into a subreddit like IT career questions and you'll quickly grasp the severity of the situation simply by scanning a handful of posts. The titles speak volumes, bluntly expressing sentiments like losing hope in this market and this market absolutely stinks. These candid titles paint a vivid picture of the challenges and frustrations faced by those navigating the 2024 IT job market, but to be perfectly fair, this isn't the case for all industries. Take for an example construction or insurance. Here you can see that while yes, they also peaked out in 2022, both of these industries are still above the pre-2020 levels. Indeed, both lines have surged by about 30% compared to their levels in February 2020. While there is some fluctuation in the market, the overarching trend remains downward. Broadly speaking, we're witnessing several critical industries experience a decline in the number of job postings. This is precisely why there's so much concern. Recently, Nick Gorelli invited Adam Taggart to his channel to discuss a range of topics, and this was a key focus. You can listen to their discussion in this clip, highlighting why the unemployment rate right now might not be the definitive measure of the current situation. While the full video is linked in the description, pay attention to this exchange, particularly regarding the Indeed postings.
Adam, I actually just want to bring up a data point that kind of supports what you're saying here. This is the number of job postings on Indeed, which is the job posting website. This is a private source, a credible source. You can see the number of job postings was indexed to 100 when the pandemic hit, spiked to 164, so 64% higher at the end of 2021. And it's just continued this long, incremental march down over the last year and a half now to 115. indicating that we're still 15% higher than pre-pandemic on job openings. But now you're saying is like some of these might not even be real job openings. So not only we had a huge slowdown in job openings, all these job openings might not even be legitimate.
Might not even be legit, exactly. And I'm going to read you one little bit of intelligence I got from one of these HR consultants. While I'm doing it, if you wouldn't mind, try to pull up the unemployment rate, because I want to point out one thing about it.
Sure.
So this woman said, yeah, they're posting jobs that do not really exist or are not currently open for hire, just for optics. This HR person said the economy is not in alignment with the data, and the labor market in the United States is absolutely, quote, frozen solid. This HR specialist has been in the field for 28 years and has never seen so few hires from cold applications and such limp employer hiring interest.
Now that we've grasped the situation and the reason behind the anxiety surrounding this job postings data, let's explore the other side of the story. We can look to a relatively recent moment in history to shed light on these concerns and perhaps find reason to ease our worries about this disturbing trend. You see, back in 2000, the NASDAQ 100 was pushing the limits of what a stock market bubble can look like. In March of that year, the index reached a record high of 5,048 and soon after began one of the worst drawdowns in market history. By the time the dot-com bubble was fully popped, the index found itself down 83%. In fact, it would take the NASDAQ 100 nearly 15 years to recover the price we once saw in March of 2000. It was hands down one of the worst bubbles in history. To make matters worse, it wasn't just tech that got obliterated, it was the general market as well. The mighty S&P 500 also during this same period suffered a downfall of around 47%. It would also require nearly 13 years of gains to make significant advances past the peaks we saw during the year 2000. So where am I going with all this? Well, in summary, it was rather clear that the US economy was undergoing some pretty severe turbulence following the explosion of the dot-com bubble. Even the job market saw a spike all the way up to 6.3%, but regardless, what is also clear is that despite all of this, most people held their jobs, housing prices continued to go up, and eventually everything made a complete recovery. The truth of the matter is that right now, despite what others may have you believe, it's pretty clear that while the job market may not be as strong as it once was in the middle of 2022, it's still very strong when compared to typical history. Even if we entertain the narrative put forth by other experts, it becomes apparent that unless there's a record-breaking unemployment surge, the broader economy tends to weather turbulent times well. Elements like housing and the overall job market persist, navigating the challenges they face. It's worth recalling that even amidst an 83% drawdown in the NASDAQ, the United States managed to keep the overall unemployment rate under 7%. Meanwhile, essential aspects of daily life such as housing prices, gas prices, rents, and others remain stable. This resilience underscores the capacity of the economy to adapt and endure amidst adversity. While it is true that certain sectors like IT have taken a massive hit over the past 2 years, from a historical perspective, we are still in a good spot, and there is no indication that this mini-job recession in certain sectors has any chance of bleeding over into other portions of the economy. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below what you think of the job market in your particular industry.